to move and clear ourselves out the way, to create that speed and force effortlessly, is to push this way, okay? We're actually pushing the knee that way to make it go this way. Swinging it back, I'm letting the arms go back to get into a position where I can sling this forward. Today, I'm going to teach you the Catapult Golf Swing method and how you can train it at home without even picking up a golf club, let alone hitting shots. And all you need is a piece of cardboard. We're going to use the ground correctly to get that effortless slingshot power. Whether you're a senior golfer, beginner golfer, or trying to break 80 for the first time, we need to use the ground, the bigger muscles, to make it so much easier. Let's find out how. You can take this to the range, you can take this, this feeling, of course, to actual playing rounds. But sometimes we just need to train a little bit to create some awareness of what we're trying to do, to get that aha moment. We need to use the general momentum and energy that we can capture from the ground to launch everything forward. If you're not tapping into that, you're making things much harder, because your upper body, if you're like floating, how much speed can you generate, right? So we have to use the ground to sort of slingshot ourselves through. And that's what the Catapult sort of golf swing method or feel can do for you. In essence, what it is, it's almost like, okay, here's my catapult, so I'm swinging it back, I'm letting the arms go back to get into a position where I can sling this forward. And what's the basis of the catapult? Like a trebuchet or a catapult, it's being pulled back from something and let go from something. But there's something always sort of central, more or less central, that is the stabilizing point to create that extension and expansion and then slingshot through. And in this case, it is our bodies. And the sort of elastic band of the catapult, if you will, is our arms and the club, okay? But our body is the stabilizer. So a tiny little backstory about this piece of cardboard. A good friend of mine, Andreas Carli, he's like one of the Danish junior top coaches, works with a lot of elite professionals and has helped me with my swing a lot. And he actually gave me this a long way back to sort of utilize this drill. And I've been using it for myself, but I've been using it for students as well. Does that make any sense? So it's like, all right, clear your body out the way. All right, just sort of turn out the way. There's no real force to create that against. It's almost like nondescript. And that's why it can be a little bit difficult. But using the law of opposing forces, we can generate the exact same feel with proficiency. Instead of just thinking I need to spin my hips back or straighten my leg, what we're going to do is use Newton's law. So let's go with the trail leg first, right? With the trail leg, we don't want this sort of heel spinning up and lifting up too much. We want to feel like we've got this energy that's moving towards the target but sitting down, so we're gathering the ground. And that again can be quite a nondescript feel. And this drill with this piece of cardboard is wonderful. What we're going to do, so the feel we want is in transition, right? So we swing back, and as we're shifting, we're moving towards the target, okay? But how are we shifting? What are we shifting and moving from, right? In this case, we want to be moving from the trail leg. But the actual feeling to move that way is to push, is not to just in space move the hips this way, because that's what sort of happens with this kind of lunge. We need to push from something. So we actually want to push with the trail leg. And the sensation that we want is to feel like we're pushing that way behind us. And what that's going to do is enable that transition to load up, to allow those hips to wind and to get us into a perfect sort of launch position to push from, okay? I'm not just pushing with the hips and sliding forward. I'm not spinning out. I am pushing from my foot here. But to emphasize this feel, we use the piece of cardboard, right? At the top of the swing, we're actually going to feel like this foot is moving out that way, like a little ski move, okay? Obviously, it's not going to do that when we've got traction because we've got a force that we're resisting against. But by pushing that way, we're actually going to move the hips in the correct manner with the ground forces and pressure that we need to get back towards the ball. And it's not an athletic move, okay? It's just using what you're given, your feet, and the ability to use the ground. So we're going to push that way. So I'm going to show you from here, right? I'm going to show you from here. So we get to the swing, and I'm going to push that way. See how I'm sort of turning the foot out? And I'm trying to feel that resistance. And as I shift back towards the ball, I'm moving the foot to emphasize that feel. So I'll do that a few times, okay? Now, with a club or without a club, whether you've got one in your hands, we try and emphasize that feel. I'm feeling exactly the same pressure, that pushing action for going back and there. Now, I can demonstrate some shots, but I want you to try this at home first to get that, okay, I get it. I don't want you stressing about a ball yet, okay? So, we're going to keep feeling that drill, that momentum, where the legs sort of straightening and pushing the foot out and away from me. I'll show you from here again. So we get to there, right, top of the backswing, and we push away. There. And you might think, well, I'm sliding all the way here. It's not going to do that without the slidey thing, all right? It's just going to sort of get us into this loaded position to move forward. And it happens naturally because of the opposing forces. I'm pushing that way. So that's going to help the trail side and load up. Now, the catapult effect is basically clearing ourselves out the way to slingshot the arms through by using the ground and our center mass, right? So let's get into that. Are you following me so far? If you haven't yet, go and get some cardboard or wear a sock on a wooden floor on your trail leg and a shoe on the front leg just so you've got some traction at least on the one side, and feel that pushing away. Feel that pushing away. Just as you get to the top of the swing, push that leg away, all right? It'll help you sit into that motion. But remember, the feeling starts, okay, before you quite complete your backswing. So the sensation you're going to do is going to be back, then shift. So it's as you're moving back, we push the leg away, and then we come back through. So try that. Try it 10, 20 times to try and get the feel. Then try it without the sliding aspect 10, 20 times and repeat. And you can do this as much as you like. So now we are onto the front leg, okay? We want to clear this out the way if we can, or to the best of our abilities. We've talked about if you're a little bit more experienced in life or a bit slower, the body's not going to work as quickly or as fast as you want. So just moving the left foot back is going to make life a lot easier. But this is still very valid for you. So the feeling we want, actually at the top of the swing, to move and clear ourselves out the way, to create that speed and force effortlessly, is to push this way, okay? We're actually pushing the knee that way to make it go this way because we've got traction. So at the top of the swing here, right, I'm actually going to push forward. So I get to my swing and I'm pushing forward there. And the idea is, by now when I've got friction against it, I push forward, but it actually propels me out of the way. So I'm not trying to clear, I'm just pushing that way. Because there's nowhere for it to go, because of the opposing forces, it just springs back. And that's how we get that sort of explosiveness without force. And that's where the Catapult Golf Swing method comes in, because it's basically pushing from here and slingshotting that way. But we're not spinning the hips, we're not trying to pull anything back. It's about this push feel, push and push. And we will make all the room in the world. So from here, I'll show you, so we get, almost to the top of the swing. We swing back and we push. There. There. Bit early on that one. There. Okay, so because what I'm doing is, as I'm pushing down, that's actually the start of my downswing. So I do that several times and I have the same sensation, okay? And I just, by pushing, I clear out the way. Push, push, and it springs back. Push, and it springs back. The hips clear so easily for all the room in the world, okay? A couple more times here. Get a bit of a workout. So don't go too fast, all right? Don't go too fast. Just try and get this sensation. And notice I'm not going too far either. I'm not like trying to ski here. It's just this pushing action, right? So there, there. Now without it, you'll find that you just sort of slingshot through without really thinking about it. So there you have it, okay? Try it several times. Start mini and build yourself up. You might find that doing one side more than the other is going to benefit your golf swing a little bit more, but don't be too aggressive. Take your time with it and don't try and push too far. But these sort of movements, these inertia activators, are going to give you much more effortless speed and encompass that Catapult Golf Swing method. Now remember, it doesn't actually really matter what it looks like, it's about what it feels like to you. Because we want that pushing to clear out the way. Opposing forces. Use them and your golf game will be much better. Thanks for watching. If you haven't, like and subscribe, and there's a free brand new series in the link below. And I'll see you next time.